So, as you're aware, the GVEDC, Greenbrier Valley Economic Development Corporation, met Thursday, March 15th, to consider the deeding of the property that we voted to deed to the GVEDC for subsequent sale to Mr. Meck. Just for some more context on that, as I think we're probably all aware at this point, state law stipulates that each county commission has to designate each year a development authority, an economic development authority for that county. GVEDC has been the development authority for Pocahontas, Monroe, and Greenbrier counties for a number of years now. At the March 15th meeting, I informed the GVEDC board. I'm a member of that board. I'm the commission representative on that board. And I informed them that the commission did vote to deed the 9 acres to the GVEDC for subsequent sale to Mr. Meck. And I expressed to the board that I assured the citizenry of two things. One, that I would ask for the proceeds, the income of the sale, to come back to the county in full or in part if possible. And two, that if the land were going to be proposed to be sold to Mr. Meck for under market value, that I would vote against that sale. So they're aware of that. The GVEDC board, we talked a lot about this, and it was a very good discussion, very open discussion. The one thing the board expressed is that it didn't want to get stuck with this land. For example, let's say the county commission deeds the land over, which we voted to do, and the GVEDC signed to receive it, and then a sale cannot be worked out with Mr. Meck. The GVEDC would then legally be stuck with it. We wouldn't have to take it back as a county if we didn't want to. So that was one concern that was voiced. I expressed to the GVEDC that I would fully expect the land be returned to Pocahontas County should a sale fall through.
I want to just point out, David, I put that provision in the draft deed today, that it would be returned to the county if it had not been used in a manner in which was forecasted within 1 year and come back to us.
Okay, very good, thank you. And the GVEDC board informally concurred that would be a good idea. So they don't want to get stuck with the land. After all, they have Ed Ray Park right now they're still paying for. We also discussed what would happen with the income of the sale. The GVEDC board, again, informally thought that the best thing to do would be to give that money back to Pocahontas County minus costs for the execution of the sale, whatever those would turn out to be. The principal concern, however, and the ultimate motion that we result in taking was centered around the idea that it could be deeded and then a sale could fall through, and that would result in this condition of having to come back. So the action the GVEDC took was simply this: to put the GVEDC's real estate committee, to authorize the real estate committee of the GVEDC to begin negotiation with Mr. Meck for sale of the land. If the real estate committee and Mr. Meck come to a proposal that's acceptable to the real estate committee and to Mr. Meck, the GVEDC real estate committee will come before the full GVEDC board in a future meeting and present that offer to the board. If the board approves that offer, then at the same time, simultaneously, they will sign the deed to receive the land from the Pocahontas County Commission and will sign to sell to Mr. Meck. So the land won't be deeded unless a sale is imminent. It will happen at the same meeting, if it is to happen. So as it stands today, the 9 acres is still with the Pocahontas County Commission.
I want to say also that I proposed, I voted against this the last time we brought it up. In the deed, I also proposed that the commission retain a veto power as to the ultimate use of the property in the community of Greenbank, and that we would not default and defer entirely to the people in Greenbrier County to be telling people in Greenbank exactly what's what, and that we would remain in the mix as far as the ultimate decision on the use of the property, which veto power we would exercise reasonably. But I don't want us to step away from the ultimate result. I think we need to be fully responsible to the people as to what's going on in the end, and not try to wash our hands of it and say, well, that's up to those people down there in Greenbrier County. That's a proposal I put in the deed. Now, the commission has not decided the wording of the deed. The commission simply decided that they would deed the property. I think the wording of the deed is still up for grabs.
Technically it is, and I would advise that we send that draft deed to the GVDC for their records. Also, it's not accurate to say that folks in Greenbrier would decide this issue. There are 6 members from Pocahontas County on that board. So this misperception that the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development Corporation doesn't have representation for Pocahontas is false. So you know that. Okay, Norman, this is your item. I'll let you.
Thank you. Well, I'll cut to the chase. I'll tell you exactly in the beginning what I'm asking you to do. This will be asking David and Jamie. I'm asking you to rescind your motion to sell this. Now, I've got a rationale for it, and I'm not the only person. Several other people want to talk. But I want you to know, the law says you have to put it up to public auction. And I consider it a malfeasance in office that I am prepared to back up with court action should you decide that you're going to betray us and give our property to the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development Corporation. Now, we've already seen the 3 acres go, and we see what's going on it. And we're not liking it at all. You all didn't know about a junkyard until it was started, and you didn't know that there were going to be all sorts of tanks put down there by the creek. We've checked on this, and Sue will testify that I've been in here to seek the floodplain approval, and they were not there. Now, that's the first part of it. The second thing is, we are currently floating a petition. That petition will require the county commission to have a public auction if they attempt to sell any of Hal's Leather, if they attempt to sell any of the Slavin property, or if they try to sell the ARC building. It takes 361 signatures. We already have about 120 signatures, and we're working hard. They've come very, very easy. And so,
what was the properties again? Does it require
Hal's Leather, the Slavin's property, which is the property in question with Mr. Mick, and the ARC property in Marlington. Now, we have to have a little bit of time, but we're working hard, and we're hard and fast. But the minute that is dropped on your desk, you will have to put that up to a public vote. And we have included within the parameters of that Jacob Meck's current operation, which means that he will not be able to make another step forward in this, because I don't think we should have let him have the 3 acres. I didn't say anything about that. Now, when I first got concerned about it was when I went up there. This was property for industrial development. I went up there and I saw a storage facility. Whoa! What kind of industrial development is that?
Economic development.
Okay, I'll go with you on economic development. Okay, so what's the deal there? Did you all know about it? And then the other week, I saw this paper being flashed around, and I went in the next day, and Sue gave me a copy of it, and that copy showed that Jacob Meck plans to put 6. He's already drawn it out. We've already paid the bill for it. Put 6 open pit sewers, cesspools, if you will, on that property right across from our senior center, which Mr. Bird goes daily to eat at, right across from our clinic.
And 100,000 gallon.
And a 100,000 gallon tank. Why? Because in the Pocahontas Times, it says he wants to haul snowshoes sewage over there and put it. Now I want you to remember something about Mr. Meck. He nearly broke his neck signing an agreement to avoid paying property taxes on that property. The second thing is, he doesn't vote. Well, he doesn't care a bit about it. He wants you to do what he won't do. God will hold him accountable for what he's wanting you to do. If he won't vote, why should you two guys vote?
Mr. Alderman, I think that...
Oh, I know that's a religious argument, isn't it? But it's a reason that we need to understand. In Missy's office, there is, I checked that morning, he does not even register to vote. Now, I hold that against him because I'm a patriot. My daddy fought for this country to give him the right to vote. And he wants land. He wants public land given to him. And so I'm asking you, Jamie, I'm asking you, Dave, to rescind this because it is malfeasance in office. And I'm going to be up front with you. I will start the petition tomorrow to bring you guys, you two, before a 3-judge panel. And I only need 36 signatures to do that. So think about it. That man's got 120 right there. So you're going to have to decide, how bad do you want your job? How bad do you want to give away my property? And number 3, how bad do you want Norman Alderman not to be able to bid? I'm going to tell you today for the record, I want to bid on that property. There's some other people wanting to bid on that property. Give me a chance at it. I'm a citizen. I have been voting longer than Mr. Meck's been voting. And that's what I have to say, but I know that some of the others have something to say.
Just a moment.
Tony?
No,
Just a moment.
he's got a sign thing on who's saying.
Okay.
I got one question. You said that it's state law that it must be put up for public auction,
Yes, that's in the state law.
but it's also state law that we have a development authority. So how can both state laws?
Both are true. We have the option.
Right, but it doesn't empower the development authority to sell that land.
Well, what are they there for?
To develop.
So how do
You know, I went along with it a long ways, Jamie, with leasing. I could handle leasing. Even though you guys, or somebody, gave him a 99-year lease. I mean, and gave him a tax exemption for the 3. I could go along with that. I could go along with the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development Authority renting the House Leather Building for $6,800 a month. And I hope they told you guys who's getting that. It's Greenbrier Valley getting that kind of money. That's almost $80,000 a year. You got to ask
You're
you.
saying that the development authority has the right to lease it, but not sell it.
Can't somebody...
I'm not even sure it had the right to lease it, but I know it didn't have the right to. This is what it's called in the law, Marty, is a straw purchase. It's where you just make a little transaction so you can do something legally.
It's our understanding, and we stand by this at this time, that we have 2 ways in which to sell property. One through auction, the other is through the appointed development authority. And we voted and chose the latter route.
But you're not selling it through the development authority. You are giving it to the development authority, and they're going to sell it. That's a straw purchase.
I've explained the terms as they're going forward.
Okay.
Well, the next question I have, when the land was sold or deeded from the Pocahontas Board of Education to the county, it was set up for economical development. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's a restriction.
Where is the guideline that says what is considered economical development? I mean, what is that? Is that a business? Is that a farm? Is that parking equipment there?
Well, I understand there's a man here today would like to have bought that land for a farm.
But
And he
is
was
that-
told that wasn't.
Well, I've heard that statement also. That's what
I don't think I would want to take it too far, telling farmers that they're not into economic development. But it stands to the fact that that place has been used for this. There's a good example of what I'm talking about going on right now. They're fighting it right now. I just found out about it. Down here at the park where the farmers market, they want to buy that. They found they don't own it. It's owned by the Urban Housing Authority or something like, kind of a defunct organization, or else they don't do much. And they said, well, no, we can't sell it to you all. I know y'all want to buy it, but we'd have to put it up for an auction. They know what to do. They know the right way.
Housing authority owns that land, and that's, by analogy, their development authority.
Yeah, right. But why is it that they're requiring a bid?
So is that sealed bid or open bid?
Open bid. You don't have secret bids in a county commission.
On the courthouse steps.
And on the courthouse step where everybody can see it. I want to video it. Because we all got a right. We're citizens, Jamie. We got a right to bid on our property. I'm just asking to give us a chance to do it. Put it up for bid. We'll never know what the real value was till we put it up for bid. I'm probably going to give Jacob Mack a good deal. Because I can't bid much.
Certainly an appraisal will be conducted by the GVDC Real Estate Committee.
Well, that would be nice, but I'll tell you what, you guys have already agreed to transfer this without getting an archaeological study that was required by the West Virginia Division of Culture and Archives. I got it, it's right in the paperwork.
My understanding is that's a portion of land.
Oh, it was done for the 3 acres. It was not done for the rest of the property. They said there will have to be one done for something beyond the parameters of the 3 acres. Now, you remember the deal? You tried to sell metal. Sound like a good deal, and then the first thing you know, you stirred up the government. Well, you're going to stir up the government on this because we'll contact the Division of Culture and Archives and say we want to see it. I've already told the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development Corporation I want to see the copy of where they have had an archaeological study. This is particularly pertinent in the fact that Tony's wife's brother said in the Pocahontas Times that when he retires, he wants to develop the Warwick Fort site. Oh boy, this will be nice to do all that right there in his back door. I don't think it'll make much of a tourism if when tourists come by and it stinks.
There's somebody back there now.
Just a moment. Do you have any other comments before we go to the public comments?
No, you're good.
Okay. I'm going to go down the list.